You have a massive goal in your mind. You want to study English, build a new business, or get into great physical shape. But instead of working, you pick up your smartphone. You scroll through endless short videos for 2 hours. You look at the clock, feel a deep punch of guilt in your stomach, and whisper to yourself, "I will start tomorrow." But deep down, you already know the truth. Tomorrow never comes. You are trapped in the invisible prison of procrastination. If this sounds like your daily struggle, stop running away right now. Relax, close your eyes, and listen to every word in this video on Speak English Now. Before we defeat this monster together, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend who always delays their success. Now, let us unlock your brain. Hello, and welcome to Speak English Now. Today we are taking a deep journey into human psychology to solve one of the biggest problems of the modern world, procrastination. Many people believe a huge myth about procrastination. They think that procrastinating means you are lazy. They think you just lack willpower or energy. But psychological science proves that laziness has almost nothing to do with it. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is an emotional management problem. Inside your head, a continuous war is happening between two distinct parts of your brain. On one side, you have the prefrontal cortex. This is the smart, logical part of your brain that sits right behind your forehead. It thinks about your future, plans your career, and wants you to study English so you can achieve your dreams. On the other side, deep inside your brain, you have the limbic system. This is an ancient, primitive part of your mind. It does not care about your future, your degree, or your bank account. It only cares about two simple things: immediate pleasure and avoiding discomfort. When you sit down to do a hard task, like writing an essay or studying grammar, your primitive brain sees difficulty. It registers that difficulty as pain. To protect you from pain, it screams, "Danger! Stop doing this. Go watch a funny video or check social media." When you surrender to that scream, you procrastinate. You win 5 minutes of cheap pleasure, but you trade away your future. To break this cycle, you must learn how to master your primitive brain. To defeat procrastination, we must understand a chemical messenger in your brain called dopamine. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation and desire. Hundreds of years ago, human beings had to work extremely hard to get a hit of dopamine. They had to hunt for food, build shelters, or travel long distances. Dopamine was the reward for overcoming real challenges. However, in our modern world, technology companies have created a trap. They designed smartphones, video games, and social media platforms to flood your brain with massive amounts of cheap, instant dopamine with zero physical effort. Every time you receive a notification, a like, or watch a short funny clip, your brain gets a quick hit of pleasure. When your brain gets used to this high level of easy dopamine, normal productive work feels impossibly boring. Reading a book or listening to an English lesson on Speak English Now feels painful because it cannot compete with the artificial high of your smartphone screen. You become a dopamine addict without realizing it. You check your phone every 3 minutes because your primitive mind is constantly searching for another quick hit. The solution is to put your brain on a digital diet. You must lower your consumption of cheap dopamine so that simple, useful activities become rewarding again. Turn off unnecessary notifications, put your phone in another room when you work, and force your brain to embrace silence and focus. The hardest part of any task is almost always the very beginning. Physics teaches us the concept of inertia. An object at rest wants to stay at rest, but an object in motion wants to stay in motion. Human psychology works the exact same way. Think about taking a cold shower. Standing outside the shower, thinking about the freezing water, causes immense mental resistance. Your brain creates 10 reasons why you should not do it, but once you step under the water and survive the first 3 seconds, your body adapts and the pain disappears. How do we overcome this initial friction in daily work? We use a brilliant technique called the 5-second rule. The moment you know you need to do a task, like opening your English notebook or sitting at your desk, do not give your brain time to negotiate. Do not pause. Count backward out loud or in your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move your body immediately. Why does counting backward work? Because counting in reverse requires focus from your logical prefrontal cortex. It interrupts your primitive brain's excuses and creates physical momentum. Once you start a task, another psychological phenomenon called the Zeigarnik effect takes over. This effect states that the human brain hates unfinished business. Once you cross the starting line, your mind naturally wants to keep going until the work is complete. Another major reason why people procrastinate is that their goals are too big and intimidating. Imagine you tell yourself, today I am going to study English for 4 hours, memorize 50 new vocabulary words, and write a long essay. Your brain looks at that giant mountain of work and feels completely overwhelmed. The mental friction is too high, so you give up before you even start. To trick your brain into taking action, you must shrink your goals until they seem ridiculously easy. This is called the 2-minute rule. Instead of telling yourself to study for 4 hours, tell yourself, I am going to open my English book and read for just 2 minutes. If I want to stop after 2 minutes, I am allowed to stop. 2 minutes of work sounds so small and effortless that your brain cannot create any resistance. It thinks, fine, 2 minutes is nothing, we can do that. You sit down, open the book, and start reading. But once those 2 minutes pass, something magical happens. The starting friction is gone. You are already in the flow, and 90% of the time you will keep reading for 30 minutes or an hour. Stop focusing on the entire mountain. Just focus on taking one tiny 2-minute step today. Consistency always beats intensity. Most people rely entirely on willpower to stay focused and avoid procrastination. They place a box of chocolate in front of them while dieting, or keep their smartphone next to their keyboard while working, thinking, I am strong enough to ignore it. This is a terrible strategy. Willpower is not an infinite resource. It is like a battery in your phone. Every time you resist a temptation, you drain a percentage of your mental battery. By the end of the day, your willpower battery is completely dead, and you inevitably surrender to distractions. Highly successful and disciplined people do not have superhuman willpower. Instead, they design an environment where willpower is not needed. If you want to focus on your studies, clear your workspace, remove everything from your desk except the materials you need. Put your phone in a drawer in another room, or use applications that block distracting websites for a specific time window. Make bad habits difficult to perform, and make good habits easy to perform. If you want to practice your English lesson every morning on Speak English Now, leave your headphones and notebook ready on your table the night before. When environment and intention align, productivity becomes automatic. We have reached the final chapter of our guide today. This chapter addresses the emotional healing required to destroy procrastination permanently. Many people live in a toxic cycle of procrastination and guilt. They delay a task, feel terrible about wasting time, call themselves lazy, and fall into negative emotions. Then, because they feel sad and stressed, they return to their smartphone to escape those bad feelings, leading to even more procrastination. You must break this shame cycle with self-compassion. Forgive yourself for the time you wasted yesterday, last week, or 5 minutes ago. The past is completely gone, and beating yourself up inside your head will not bring back a single lost hour. Psychological research demonstrates that students who forgive themselves for procrastinating on an exam are significantly less likely to procrastinate on the next exam compared to those who punish themselves with guilt. Treat yourself like a good mentor would treat a student. Acknowledge your mistake, take a deep breath, and reset your focus on the present moment. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be better than you were yesterday. Keep training your mind, remain patient with your journey, and continue listening to long-form lessons on Speak English Now to grow your English fluency naturally. You hold the power to rewrite your habits and build the life you deserve. Thank you for listening to this story on Speak English Now. You are doing a wonderful job with your English. Every minute you listen, you become better. You did it. You finished this part. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and leave a comment below. See you in the next part.